I'm Patrick Bailey with whiteboardcoder.com. Today is July 16th, 2015, and today I'll be going over how to set up an Ubuntu 14.04 server to send notifications to Slack via the webhook Slack integration. The Slack webhooks integration allows you to post messages to rooms via an HTTP post. If you have not already set up your webhooks integration, then click on this video. It'll show you how to set up and use the webhooks integration in Slack. Okay, the first thing I want to do is just get a simple init script working. So not even bother with the Slack, just get the init script working. So I'll help to do by there. Init.d, and I'll call it notify Slack. I'm going to make this just a simple bash script. This script notify Slack when this machine starts up or shuts down. Okay, so I'll just make a simple case statement here. If I can type. Okay. So if you go to start, we'll echo start. If we get a stop, we'll echo stop. And put a catch-all in here that we will echo some information. To send notifications to Slack shutdown startup. Okay, so we'll save it, and I'll come over here and I'll just make it executable. Okay, and then I'll execute it. And I'll make it start. Oh, messed something up. Ah, there it is, next to the stop, I think. Well, that's definitely missing. Now, let me try it. Oh, it's not interpreting the end, but it's getting the start there. And stop, and there's the stop. Okay. It's working, not pretty. Okay, so that part's working. Okay. Now let's update this so we can actually send something to Slack. So I'll put a Slack URL in here to my webhook, but since I don't want to expose it to the world, I actually I already put a file in there, so I can just grab it this way. Slack. Probably not the best place to put it, but I stuck it in there. So now if I cat that, I'll get my Slack URL so I can reuse that without posting it to the world right now. Okay. Now I'm not getting the highlight I should get. Let me quit this and look at it again. Ah, there we go. I like colors. Okay, so now I'm going to do a curl -h content type application JSON, and then let's see -x post -d, and now I can give my contents and then Slack URL. Alright, looks good. So I want to keep this pretty simple and readable too. So I'll put this JSON in here. And so I'll set my channel that I want to post to DevOps. And I'll set my text just to something simple. Test, text, startup. And so now that in theory should work. So if I do let's go. Let's start it. It's sent, and there it is. So it came through just fine. So you can see the test text come up. Now let me fix this. I want to get the line numbers in here so I can. It's not coming through either. There we go. Line numbers. Okay, so I want to just copy and paste this. So I can do 14 to 20 and yank it. Boom. And come down here to the stop and paste it. Delete that stop and then just change this text to stop. And then send a stop. And stop's working. Perfect. Okay, now let me leave that as is. Let me get out of this. And now what I want to do is to, I guess you just call it register. So I want that script to be set up in such a way so that now that it actually is run on startup and reboot with the correct settings. So I'll do that, notify Slack. So if I run this, update /rc.d, notify Slack, my script, it should set it up with the correct defaults. Okay, kind of hard to see on that little screen there, but it should be good, right? And let me do it over here just so you can see it better. Oh, it didn't like that. Oh, duh. Helps to actually put in defaults. There you go. So you need the defaults. There we go. So now we're set up. So good. So I will reboot this. Put a test in here so we can really see it. I'm going to reboot the box, and as it reboots, there you go. It sent the stop message by itself. See how long it takes to boot up. Should be pretty quick, right? There we go. And so we got a message when it started. Perfect. So let me go get back into that box. Now it's up. And that's the basics. So now you have a basic script that can start up, that will send a message to Slack when your system starts up or when it shuts down. Okay, now to make this script a little fancier. So I'll go edit it again. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do here is make it a little fancier. So we got the channel, but I can actually set a username that it will post as rather than just a incoming webhook right now, I guess. Okay, so I'll have a user, and I'm going to call it ESXi. Since it's actually running on an this virtual machine's running on an ESXi box right now. And also, you can use your emoji icons. So I can do icon underscore emoji. And you can use any emoji icons that are in there. But I've added one. So I've added one and I called it ESXi. And let's see. And then we'll do attachments to get a little fancier here. And I'll get rid of this text here real quick. And we'll give it a title. We'll call it server starting up. And we'll give it a color. And I'll show you what that does in a minute if you haven't done this yet. And you can give it a hex color, or you can just give it a good. Good is going to be green. And you'll see that puts a line next to it when I get it actually working. And then we go fields. Like so. And then we can do title. Let's say I have a, oh, that shouldn't be title, it should be fallback. Fallback, there we go, fallback. Your fallback is what will come across on your pop-up notifications. So that should be a shorter message typically. So I'll say server starting up as a title, and then I'll do value, which is going to be the actual text, and I'll keep it simple to start off with, starting up. And then I'll do short true. Now this will come into play later, but if you have something set to short, you can actually format them so you can actually have multiple messages, multiple fields. And if they're short, one can be put on the left and one can be put on the right. And you'll see that in a minute once I get more fancy. But for now, we'll keep it that fancy. Okay, let's make sure that works. Yeah, I guess I forgot all my commands. So we'll do notify Slack and start. Let's see if it works. And it worked. Oh, kind of. So you can see that green bar right there. You can see the title. Oh, and there's the pop-up, the message in it. But I messed something up. On my emoji, I need colons on either side. So let me, I'll try this again. There we go. So there's the emojicon that I have for ESXi. And so you can see that showed up, ESXi, server starting up, and the actual message starting up. And, okay. So I want to do the same thing for stop. And so what I can do here real quick, I can do set in U, so I can see my line numbers. And I'm just going to do a big copy paste here in Vi. So let's see, what is that? 16 through 33, and I'll yank those. And I'll come down here and I'll do post. And I'll delete the old one out. And let's see what needs to be changed. So we have starting up, shutting down. And server shutting down, and value, change it to shutting down. Okay, so we'll try a stop now. There we go. Now, of course, you don't see the emoticon show up here because the message is from the same user, so it just kind of stacks up. So if I put a test in here to separate them, then you'll see the emoticon, there you go, the emoji show up. Perfect. Now let's see if we can get one step a little fancier, and this is kind of my final step. I'll put my simple code up there just as a gist on GitHub just so you can see it. So we'll make this a little fancier now. So what I'm going to do is I'll come up here And I'm going to do a little cutting and pasting from some notes I have over here, and then I'll explain myself. What I've got going on here, I'll extend this a little bit so it's easier to read. Come on. I guess we'll just make it big. Okay, there we go. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to fill out some text in here. And so I have this start text, stop text, and some drive information. So what I'm trying to do is just grab some bits and pieces of information, because what I want when something starts up or when it stops, if I have multiple machines going, I would like to know what machine is going, and a little bit of information about it. Usually what I'm concerned about when I start and when I stop is what's the IP address of the machine, what's the name of the machine, how much memory does it currently have. So that kind of tells me which machine it is. Other pieces of interesting information that I like to look at when a machine starts up is the drives. How much information is left on the drives right now, how much space is left. Let me get this back over here. Okay. Now I got a mess of information. So some piece of information you can just get. So if I do host name, that's the name of the box, and that's what I'm doing up here. I'm just getting the text information. Another interesting piece that I found here is if you want to get your current IP address, you can actually run this command, which is going to look horrible in there, huh? Let's see. You can do, let's see, IP route get 888, and then you run this awk command, and that'll return your local IP address. Then over here is a cat proc to get the actual memory and do a little division to get how much you have in gigabytes. And then you may need to change this. You know, there's the df-8, which of course is going to get you your information on your hard drives. But what pieces do you care about? Because this is going to give you all your mount points. And the only real hard drive in here is this guy. That's the only guy I care about right now. And so I want to grep on that. So what this actually does, it gets that, and it greps, and it grabs, I actually grabbed the first line here because I want that information, and then it goes and it greps dev SD. So you may need to change that based on what your hard drives are. If you're VD or GD or XVD or whatever your hard drives are, you need to look at them. Right now, it's just a simple grep. And so this is going to get all the information I need, or that I want to display. Okay. And then I come down here, and rather than have that value, I want to put that information in. So you can do that. Let's see, start text, and then there we go. And then shutting down, we got to do the same thing. And let's see what I call it. Stop text, right? Stop text. But there's something I forgot there. We have to actually add the information for the drive information. And so what we can go down and do here is in the fields, you can have another field. So I can quickly copy these. That's 36 to 40. Yep. If I can type 48, there we go, and then post, and then don't forget to put a little comma here because now we got multiple fields. Do drive status and drive info. And now because both of these are short and they're going to be in the same message, they'll actually show side by side. So let me try and run that. Hopefully I wrote that down right the first time. Okay, start. There we go, perfect. And so this machine, when it starts up, it's going to say starting up. It'll give you the name, the IP address, and the memory. And then the drive status will show you all the mounted drives and how much information they have left. And that'll kind of squish it together here, but if I stretch it out a little bit, you can probably see it. It'll a little bit more. There we go. So now you can kind of see the drive information. You have 11% left, and life is good. Well, let me do a stop on that too, just to make sure stop is working. Okay, stop is working too. So it looks like my stuff is good, so I will reboot the machine and make sure it works. So now the machine goes down. We should get this shutting down. Perfect. We got it. I'll just put that into separate it so you can see the icon show up. There we go. So now it's rebooted. And there's the IP address, there's the amount of memory, and current disk space. And I can log back in. Life is good. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. I will post a link to the final script I made here in the show notes.